Hello, everybody. This is Ed Carbajal for Spectation Sports, speaking with Jay Perrin, who fights on Cage Titans 60 next week in July 22nd. Jay, how are you? How are you doing? I know you said you just got done training today.
I'm great, man. Everything's going, peachy keen. Life is good. So I'm doing great. Can't wait to fight next week.
Yeah, like we said, it's next week. So, can you just, if you don't mind me asking, I mean, the process between now it's Friday and the fight is next Saturday. So fight week for you, how do you handle fight week with maintaining weight and dealing with media obligations, stuff like that?
I honestly love fight week. You know what I mean? Fight week's my favorite because honestly, I don't have to get punched in my head anymore. And, it's just about sweating and moving. And, it being at featherweight this time, I don't have to worry about like the fatigue as much. I don't really get tired, especially now that I'm not really sucked out or anything like that, and trying to make weight. So
Hmm.
it's going to be a breeze. You know what I mean? The whole week. So it's just going to be positive vibes. And, I'm in the gym every day as it is. Like I'm in the gym 6 or 7 days a week, sometimes all week.
Hmm.
So, it's really no different. I just won't be, going super live, maybe doing some mitt work, just trying to sweat and keep a good calorie burn. But fight week is the most fun for me because then I can really lock in and really get mentally in the space I need to be.
Hmm. Because every fighter I talk to is different, so it always interests me to hear the take of on how fighters, like some fighters will just like leave me the hell alone. I'm focusing on weight, and or some like yourself enjoy the distraction.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, yeah.
excuse me. So having been you fought in the UFC, you have a pretty extensive record.
Mm,
Do you ever feel like that when folks find that out about you? Do you ever feel like that puts a bullseye on you, like when
all the
you're
time,
fighting in
man.
other promotions?
I think I put a bullseye on myself, man. If I'm honest, I talk a lot of shit, and it's not because it's unfounded. I work really hard, man, and
Hmm.
and so um, I'm not one of those guys. I don't know. People have this like weird vibe about them about fighters that we're all supposed to be super humble all the time, and like humility to the point where it's like I'm supposed to almost say that the guy I'm fighting might beat me up type thing. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
it's very odd when I
yeah.
go, yeah, dude, I'm a better fighter than you, and I'm going to beat you. How people react to that. I'm sorry. What was the question? Let me go back to that. I
No,
lost my.
if the history that folks know that you were in the
Oh
UFC,
yeah.
does it put
So
a target
so
on you?
yeah, I think I do that myself with kind of just how I project my confidence.
Hmm.
But the UFC letters always, you know what I mean. Especially if you're
Yeah,
somebody that's hungry trying to get to the show. Even though I was short lived in the UFC, I still had some exciting fights, some exciting, you know what I mean, some very entertaining fights while I was there. So to beat me uh,
yeah,
would still be a really good win. You know what I mean for anybody. Not that Lionel can or will beat me, but I agree, but you know what? Those things are good, man. You need people that are chomping at your heels
hmm,
to keep you going. If you want to stay in this sport, there's always going to be somebody that's going to try and take you down. So,
yeah.
uh, target on your back's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, so this kind of alludes to my next question because your fight name is the Joker. Do you think like the when because you have obviously for a fight you have to mentally prepare yourself. It's physical violence for one person
Yeah,
to another, but in a sporting controlled environment. So there has to be a certain level of mental. Just you have to kind of like set your mind up because to I have to hurt this person because they're going to try to hurt me.
mm.
So do you think folks don't get that all, especially nowadays? Like, is it harder for folks to translate that? And is that where like kind of like where your Joker name comes from?
The Joker name actually comes from my adopted father. So when he called me that, I've struggled with a lot of mental health
Hmm.
my whole life. And when I was 13, I met my who would become my dad, or the guy who I claim raised me really. And
Hmm.
he called me the Joker because of um, I was always kind of the guy that crack a joke in a dark situation, and just to try and make light of it. So the name itself came from honoring him. He has passed away, so I
Hmm.
just kept the moniker as something that he gave me when I was a kid. Now that mentality, the question that you have to say, I think everybody's different because yes, I have to hurt this person. But that
Hmm.
doesn't mean necessarily I have to go to this dark, weird place.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? For me, this is my profession, man. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's not like a driven I don't know. I guess it's not like an emotional thing. Like it's something that I do. I have to do this. They're paying me thousands of dollars for me to
Hmm.
job. So it's like waking up and clocking into your job. You know what I mean? This is what I do now, and focused, sure, but like I guess malicious. Maybe not. That
Hmm.
doesn't mean that I'm not going to use my abilities to full extent of them. You're going to try and hurt me. That's just the end of it. You know what I mean? So I try and
Hmm.
keep um, my emotions on an even keel because I feel like when you try and go to this deep dark place, it takes a lot of energy to do that shit. It really
Yeah.
does. So I try and keep a clear head as much as I can and just kind of enjoy the process. I love what I do, so to try and shift the energy to this super serious thing
Yeah.
when I'm really just kind of a happy-go-lucky kind of dude. I'm just happy to be doing what I love to do. I think that kind of fucks with people. So I just try and be me,
Yeah.
like I normally would. And then when it comes down to game time happens.
Yeah. You said something that before I go on to my other two questions, you said something that kind of sit uh, I hooked onto when we talked about, like we all have mental issues that we have to deal with from day to day. Some folks find different ways to deal with them.
Yeah,
Do you find that martial arts and the training and everything helps what
yep,
keeps you level?
100%. Martial arts saved my life, man. And I'll always be a part of martial arts because without it, I truly am unsure where I would be or who I would be. Um, and it just really shaped a lot of who I am and how I go about things. Maybe not in you know uh, practical, maybe in more practical ways than people think. It's not
Mm.
just martial arts; it's translated to my life. Discipline, confidence in the things that I do, and so I owe a lot to martial arts. So I do believe. It definitely helps. And I was actually just having this conversation with my teammates who
Hmm.
said they had been going through a spell of depression for a while and having me in the gym. And I'm very open about my mind and how it works and just helped him. You know what I mean? And,
Hmm.
and, he, and he told me that just getting up and doing this every day and being consistent and having a routine where this is part of your life and this is the thing you need to do to help you. You know what I mean? Maybe the depression or whatever you're dealing with isn't cured, but you
Hmm.
damn sure leave the gym in a better place than you got there in. And I think that speaks a lot of volumes to people's mental health and why I encourage them to try, whether it be martial arts or lifting or what have you. You know what I mean? That physical exertion is very, very good to work things out in your body. So I think that martial arts or just being active and exercising in general, making that part of your routine is definitely one of, if not the best way to combat things that are going on in your head.
100%, man. I agree. 100% can relate, even as a hobbyist. I mean, you guys are the professionals. I always tell folks, like, if just because I go 2, 3 times a week, it's nothing compared to the twice a day, every day that you guys do. But still, that's why it just jumped out at me. I agree with you 100%, and I just figured it'd be good for folks to hear that.
Of course.
But looking ahead to Cage Titan 60. You mentioned your opponent already, Lionel Young.
Yep.
What do you know about him? And Cage Titans likes to do it up on their fight week. I mean, they post a lot of stuff on social, so I'm wondering what you're expecting. Is there any? Are you ready for the trash talk, or will you expect anything like that before fight night?
Man, Boots can say whatever he wants, or Lionel could say whatever he'd like. Anybody, you know what? I'm just in a place, bro, where I'm just not hearing it.
Yeah.
I don't. You can say whatever the fuck you want to me. You know what I mean? And that's where I am, and I think that's where I was when I was before the UFC. When I got to my rise, I won 8 fight in a row, and
Hmm.
people talk shit to me all the time, and it didn't get to me. And when I got to the UFC, it did. But
Hmm.
I just don't give a shit. I don't care what you have to say. I don't care. Say it. Say whatever you want. But at the end of the day, when that door closes, it's just me and you. Those words don't mean a fucking thing unless you can
Yeah.
deliver on them. So, um, I'm 5-0 in the Cage Titans cage. There've been plenty of people that have been telling me that they're gonna beat me inside that cage and,
Hmm.
and have talked tremendous amounts of shit and haven't.
Hmm.
So, um, no, man, he can say whatever he'd like to me, but I know Boogs. I know who he is. I know his character. I know all of his tendencies. There's nothing that Lionel Young has in his arsenal that I have not seen or countered or completely crushed before. And so And that's just, like confidence comes in preparation. Like I said, dude, I'm in the gym 7 days a week, and I know for a goddamn fact that Lionel doesn't work as hard as I do. So, proof will be in the pudding, man. You know what I mean? After a certain amount of fights, you know what I mean? There's in a certain age, people don't change how they fight. So, Lionel's going to come with the same shit that he got knocked out with in December or whenever he got knocked out last, and I'm going to be the one that puts him away. It's one thing to be tough, and I'll give him that. He's tough. He's slow. His ground. If it goes to the ground, I'm gonna eat him. I'm gonna absolutely eat him alive, and he knows it. He knows that. That's the problem. So I expect that when he comes out, he's gonna be wary of the takedown. So that's gonna mess up his striking. I'm gonna box his face off, and then when I do that, he's gonna open up, and then I'm gonna take him down. And as soon as his back touches the floor, I'm going to absolutely drown him. That's it. That's basically the formula. It doesn't matter. And I'm not looking for any specific thing. I know Titan, the things that he does, but anything that he does, again, there's nothing I don't have an answer for. There's nothing that he has that I don't have an answer for. And there's nothing about this fight or MMA or as a hard worker or as a person that I'm just not a higher caliber. And so, he can bring this wherever he wants. I suspect in the first 3 minutes or even in the first minute, he'll either come out and explode, or he'll be super hesitant because he doesn't want me to take him down and stand there. That's basically one of the two things that he's going to do. If you look at his fight with Penafil, he didn't want Joe to take him down, even though Joe did at will, and Joe's a terrible wrestler. He froze. And all he did was try and hold Joe up against the cage. And it's really funny because people say that I'm the one that's going to hug. But if you look at the title fight that him and Joe Penafil had, it was 5 rounds of them doing over-under clinch and the ref rating them because they didn't want to take a risk anyway. So you know what I mean? Like, I just don't. Again, there's no part of this that I'm not, and just at a basic dog level, as far as being a dog, I don't quit. Boogs quits. You're a quitter, dude. You've quit once. You've quit more than once. I've watched you do it. You know what I mean? You're going to come out strong, and when I don't go away, you're going to fade away. And I'm not. That's the thing. I don't get tired. I'm going to keep pressure on you. And if you quit, I'm going to eat you. And that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to quit because I'm not going to go away. And when that happens, checkmate. And, I'll collect my check and ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that was a little more than I was expecting from that question. But my last question, because you just kind of touched on it, because you said when I asked about like trash talk and stuff like that, you said when you were in the UFC, it did kind of bother you, and you kind of now your mind is straight and you don't let stuff like that bothers you. But like long term after Cage Titans, is the UFC where you want to get back to, or does it matter to you?
Of course, man. You know what, dude? If I'm honest, I'm a prize fighter. So like I've done the UFC. Not that I don't want to go to the UFC. If they want to bring me back, of course I'm going to jump onto that. But if the PFL offers me more money and I can make a better living, or if the Bellator offers me the same kind of thing and I can make a better living, then I'm going to go there. You know what I mean? I don't care what random people on Twitter have to say about my caliber of fighting while they're sitting watching me on the TV from their couch. I don't care. So you can call me B, C League, whatever. I get to live my life as a prize fighter and do whatever I want, whenever I want. So, yes, I would like to, but right now I'm just taking it one fight at a time. You know what I mean? I got this fight, and then I got a daughter coming, and you know what I mean? I'm going to focus on those things. Yeah. And then, wherever I land, I land. You know what I mean? But looking too far ahead is what's gotten me in trouble in the past. And right now I got Lionel right in front of me. And even though I have a lot to say about him, he still is a guy that if I don't give my proper attention to, could clip me. You know what I mean? So focus on next week and find out where the chips lie. That's pretty much it.
Wow, that's enough for nothing. I mean, that's really inspiring stuff there. I'm glad congratulations on the upcoming, you got the kid coming in. If you have anything you want to plug before I let you go, Jay, by all means, the floor is yours.
You guys can just find me on Instagram and Twitter at Joker_gang35. I really don't got a lot of plug. I have a couple of sponsors, Battle Wounds Apparel and the In Club Tattoo Studio really helped me out. So really thank you for that for the camp. And just one last thing, dude. If you're having a hard time in your head, emotionally, whatever, people go through tough shit from world champions to the smallest mouse in the field, go through things that seem overwhelming. And I've recently buried another of my friends to the demons inside their own head and heart. And if I could offer any kind of relief to that, if you need to reach out to me, you could be a complete stranger, man. But all I know is I'm tired of burying my friends and burying good people because we couldn't have a conversation about how we could help you. So you just, maybe it's not a plug, but if you are having a hard time and you don't think it's worth it to reach out, or that people don't care enough, you are so fucking wrong.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So please, please, it doesn't matter. Be annoying. Be bothersome. Reach out to somebody. Me. It could be me, and we'll sit and talk about how we can make things better or move towards things that are better for you. Please don't make your family and friends bury you before your life even begins. And that's it. Other than that, all of my best to everybody, whether you like me or you don't. Please hold each other close, because the next time that you see each other could be the last.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you so much for making the time, and that was a great way to close the interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Take care.
Thank you, too.